Hello friends, welcome back to the Make It Happen podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Moreno, and this week we are taking a break from the solo content, which I'm so happy to hear you guys have been enjoying. Many of you have reached out to say that the past 2 episodes I put out resonated with you and gave you some perspective, which is essentially all I'm trying to do with my podcast. I'm never trying to tell anyone that they have to stop doing something or to follow what it is I'm doing. I just want to help you guys all bring attention to any areas that you could improve if you want to. So lately, I've been putting myself out there a lot more with my artwork and my podcast, just simply even talking about what I'm doing with people. I used to feel a little shy about talking about my endeavors because I didn't want to sound full of myself. And I was also iffy about whether or not other people would be into my content and such. We are still really early on in the year, but already I feel like I've been upholding my 2020 intentions and bringing them into different aspects of my life. I feel like as I've given myself the licensing to take up space, my life gets fuller. I've realized that there's nothing wrong with being proud of the things I've created. And if who I am and what I'm doing doesn't vibe with someone else, then I'm so okay with that. It's kind of like that old question of, would you rather have many friends or just have a few friends, but they are very close? I don't know if that's exactly the question or if I just butchered it, but you get the gist. I'd rather have people who are here because they are interested and not just because they're, estranged acquaintances from high school. I'm constantly seeking out sources of inspiration, not just for the purpose of podcast guests, but for people who I just want to learn from. I've heard others name specific people that they admire and want to be just like, but personally, I've never seen someone who has exactly what I want. Part of that might be because the aspirations I have for myself are just so unique that they haven't been done before. That crosses my mind sometimes. Or maybe I just have not been exposed to enough models for my idea of achievement. Inspiration can come from many places, though. In my case, what I tend to do is seek out people who have aspects or traits that I admire, and then I'll piece together what it is I like and what I'd like to integrate myself. For example, I used to be really conservative, rarely shared my opinions, and I was just afraid to speak up. What I noticed was that I couldn't keep my eyes off of certain people who were unafraid to stand up for themselves and show the world what they're all about. I felt strongly that way about my friend Fabian, who I interviewed back on the first season, episode 3, I believe, and Morgan on episode 11. It's the coolest thing when someone can just be themselves, whether that's super dedicated to their craft or goofy or anything in between and outside of that. That's part of what I love about my guest on the show today. I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I really like chatty people. When you can just give them a question or bring up a topic and they run with it. That's one of the first things I noticed about Daniel when I first met him. He's also just insanely talented. This guy was pretty much born to talk and play drums. He has thoughts on everything and he is not shy to say them. I don't know if he means for some of the things he says to be funny, but I always have a good time and lots of laughs when talking with him. Going back to what inspires me, Daniel is loud and unapologetic about who he is, but you can tell that there's lots of heart behind what he says. So whether or not you know Daniel from his metalcore band Samsara, I think you'll enjoy hearing many of the cool stories he has to share about touring, the shenanigans that he and his bandmates get up to, what inspires him, and all that good stuff. So let's welcome Daniel Castaneda to the Make It Happen podcast. With the rise of non-toxic products in the beauty and skincare industry, it's hard to find what's worth trying. There's one brand that I've been using for over a year now that I have got to tell you guys about. That is Frey Skincare. Their company started with the launch of a specially formulated sunscreen for active lifestyles that won't leave you greasy or break you out. But they've since expanded to a wide range of products from tinted moisturizers to facial cleansers and oils, a line of body products, and most notably their Frey 123 set, which is the perfect place to start if you're new to their products. I'd also recommend picking up their Detox Me face mask. It has cleansing microbeads made from jojoba oil that are perfect for a light exfoliation without stripping your skin. It also leaves my face feeling so fresh and supple after using it. I love it. Frey's team of dermatological scientists have formulated each product with the rejuvenating benefits of argan oil to hydrate, protect, and exfoliate your skin and leave you glowing or your money back. Plus, as part of their give back mission, for every skincare set that they sell, they plant an argan tree to help replenish the endangered argan forest in Morocco and support the women who harvest the argan oil. To get the glowy skin you've been seeking and a risk-free trial of their famous Frey 123 set, head to freyskincare.com/MelanieM and use the code MelanieM at checkout for a wicked discount. That's freyskincare.com/MelanieM. Well, let me just begin by saying thank you for coming on my podcast. I am so grateful to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, honestly, when I was kind of planning the first season of the podcast and I was thinking, like, who can I invite on? Your name crossed my mind. I don't know if I had reached out to you back then. I feel like I was trying to feel you out, but you're very busy. Like, and you were touring a lot, so.
Yeah, and then, like, right when you had messaged me, like, oh, do you think you can do it? And I was like, yes, but I had just gotten a second job, and my second job's in San Diego, so, like, I would be home for, like, 2 days, go to San Diego and stay there for, like, 4, come back, spend an entire day sleeping, getting my life back together, and then do it all over again. It's been a mess. Even I'm just like, I need to relax for, like, a day.
Yeah, you do. Why are you overworking yourself?
Well,
I mean, I know everyone likes money, but don't say that money is the
well,
reason.
money, yes, but, like, I also just enjoy being, like, out of town or something. And I also enjoy, like, working out in San Diego. So it's definitely, like, fun. I have a good time doing it. And, like, I'm home for, like, a day or two. And I feel like that's enough time for me to, like, get my life together again. Yeah, it's really, like, the only reasons that I'm as busy as I am.
You also seem to like being busy. Like, you really enjoy having things to do.
I can't sit still. Like, I can't stay in one place for too long, or else I'm just gonna get, like, super, like, antsy, and I'm just gonna, like, lose my mind, basically. Yeah, can't do it.
Have you always been like that?
I think so. I don't know. I was, like, always busy in high school, and middle school I was kind of, like, always yeah, I'm just gonna say yes. I was never one to stay in one place.
What were you like growing up?
What was I like growing up? I was always, like, I hated going to school, but I enjoyed doing, like, musical stuff. That was really it. Like, I was either home, like, playing video games or something, or, like, out skateboarding, or doing band stuff. I was also, like, starting to join bands in, like, high school and stuff too. So that was, like, a weird point in time where I was like, oh, I think I want to play guitar in a band, or I think I want to play drums, or I think I want to sing, or, like, be in, like, an acoustic thing or something. Like, I couldn't make up my mind. Now that I'm, like, doing what I'm doing, I'm like, oh, yep, this feels right.
When did you start playing? What was sort of your first moment where you picked up an instrument and started?
I started playing snare for, like, band in elementary school in, like, 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, my grandma was just like, hey, do you want to be in band? And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to be in band. Like, little 5th grade me was so hyped. But yeah, we ended up going to, what's the music store here called? We went to Clark Baker, and then she bought me my little snare with a little stand, and off I went. Now I'm in a metal band. Yeah, that's really all that happened. She bought me a snare, and now I'm here. And, like, I ended up getting, like, a drum set. I think it was my freshman year from my uncle. And that was also, like, a very big, like, stepping stone in a sense. And what else did I get? I was always around, like, guitars because of my grandpa. And I ended up picking up guitars and, like, noodling around, and ended up figuring out how to do that. And then
What was fun about it to you? what were you getting out of it when you were playing music and messing around with the instruments?
It was just like a good outlet for me. It always has been, and it's never been like, it's just like good for like, if I'm like super stressed, I will definitely go do that. Or like, if I'm just bored, I'll try to learn something new. It's definitely like, there's always something to learn. Like I can always like push myself to do something, because no matter like how good you think you are at something, there's always going to be someone that's better than you at it, and like you can always learn from them. You can even learn from people that are not as great as you are, or like don't have like the certain skill set that you have. Like you can learn from literally anybody, and like I don't know. It's definitely like there's always a lot to take in, and I love that about playing instruments.
Who inspired you as you were growing up and starting to play? Was it people in your family or musicians that you admired? Who was sort of the motivator?
Um, well, as a kid, I was always around music because of my grandpa, and that was really it as far as like family wise. But I was always kind of just drawn to it, and I guess I was like my main like motivation growing up for music, which is sounds kind of weird, but there's that, and it was just like drummers from bands that I would listen to or something, or like yeah, that's really it. Like bands that I'd like looked up to as a kid were definitely a very big factor into how I play instruments now.
So, like, what bands would you say?
What bands did I listen to as a kid? Oh man, my band's gonna make fun of me for this. No, I'm just kidding. They know. We were all the same. I listened to a lot of like Motionless in White, which is kind of like I still do. They just released a very good record. Um, I listened to a lot of Asking Alexandria, Sleeping with Sirens. Pierce the Veil was definitely one. I was definitely like the little like emo kid with the bracelets and all that, so it makes sense. Then I started like branching out into like the heavier side of stuff, and I was like super into like this band Whitechapel for a while, and like that I do not listen to that band at all. Like I listened to them for like 3 months, and I was like, yeah, I'm over it. It was too much. And yeah, I guess my like music taste has definitely like stayed kind of the same since growing up, but there's definitely like different bands now, of course. And I listen to a lot of like different stuff now too. Like I've always liked like acoustic stuff, and that's another reason like why I enjoy playing acoustic stuff and like singing and doing whatever. Um, I was in jazz for a while, but I never listened to jazz. But that also helped push me to be better at what I do. That's really it.
So, how'd you get involved with? I didn't even have you introduce yourself. We just got straight into talking. I should have asked you to introduce yourself and kind of tell us about you. People already know quite a bit about you now at this point, but can you go ahead and do the formal introduction of yourself and tell us about your band?
Well, my name's Daniel. I play drums in a band called Samsara.
How'd you get started with them?
Was like a co-host for a house show in Imperial when I was like 15, and I was in like some super shitty like metal band at the time. And my current bassist Vince was actually the one who got them on the show. Well, my current band, and we ended up just like clicking, and my bassist was just like, yeah, this kid's fucking insane, he's 15, like this and that. And like in my head I was like, chill, like I don't want you to like overhype me, and like I'm actually like really bad. But like they ended up like we ended up clicking. They ended up really liking how I played, especially for a 15-year-old kid. And yeah, that was that. I didn't see them for about 2 years. Like I didn't talk to any of them or anything. And then they ended up posting like, oh, hey, we need a fill-in drummer for like these 2 shows. And I messaged them and I was like, hey, I'm free. I know I'm still like 17, but I can do it if you're willing. I showed up to like practice and like kind of like try out in a sense. And yeah, we just went from there, and then they posted that they need, or no, my guitarist Billy messaged me, and he was like, hey, do you know anyone that can do this 2.5 week tour? Like, these are the dates. Like, if you know anyone, like, just let me know. And I was like, hey, I can do it. Like, I can take the time from high school and, like, go with you guys. Because it ended up lining up perfectly with, like, our spring break. Because for some reason we had a 2-week spring break that year. And we had left, I think, the Sunday after spring break had started. So those 2 weeks went by, and then I think I only missed like 3 days of school in total because I got back on Wednesday or Thursday or something. That first week that spring break had just like ended. So I was just like, yeah, I can do it if you trust me. I turned 18 literally the day before, so you wouldn't have like a minor doing a tour with you guys. Yeah, and now we're here.
You were at that age, you're young, you've never done this before, and yet you're just so excited and you just put yourself out there. Like, did you have any hesitations? Were you nervous at all about that?
Not really. Like, they were like really surprised because even like with the first show that I'd filled in for them for, what had happened? Like, we'd showed up and my guitarist was like, hey, are you nervous at all? And like, cause our last fill-in was like losing his mind before we played. And I was like, no, like, I've practiced enough. Like, I feel ready. And I've never been one to like have like stage fright or anything. I've never gotten nervous performing in front of people for whatever weird reason. It's so weird because I don't get nervous performing, like even like high school when we'd have to perform in front of like 1,000 people or something. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. But like, I hated going up in school, like presentations and being like, oh hey, this is like the fucking Pythagorean theorem or something. Like, I couldn't do that, but like, it just feels natural, like playing. My voice totally cracked.
Oh, like the instruments, that's your medium, so you feel like you're in it with that, and maybe talking about math isn't your thing.
I hate math so much.
Who would have known?
I hate it.
So that kind of makes me think of when you're performing with your band, do you ever feel like you have to be in a certain persona versus you, and like, is there you when you're in the band on the stage and you off the stage? Do you feel like there's two different versions of you?
Yes and no. Like, I'm definitely the same person, but like if I'm if I'm playing like a show or something, that's those like 30 minutes are my outlet for whatever I've been dealing with. And I end up like I look super angry, and I'm very relaxed like when you talk to me. It's kind of funny cuz like when I'm playing I'm like hitting myself, or like I'm like punching like a drum or something, and like I'm constantly like busting like my knuckles or something stupid. The other day my guitarist was like setting my drums up or something. I forgot what he was doing with my drums, but he was like, yeah, there was blood all over your drum head for your snare and your floor tom. I'm like, I think you took the blood off of the cymbals, but like, how the fuck do you do that? And I was just like, I don't know. It's an accident every time, and I hate it because like I still can't close my right hand without it like hurting. And yeah, like that's definitely like that 30-minute window is definitely like my outlet where I just lose my mind and I get off stage and I'm fine. Like, I'm back to just talking how I am now. And
Do you feel exhausted? Like when you're through with the show, do you feel like it all just comes off of you, or?
I'm definitely exhausted after I play. Like, I'm fucking drenched and like tired. And I drive after we play all the time. I'm part of like the night crew is what we call it. And yeah, it's definitely like I'm good at staying awake for some stupid reason, and I hate it. I definitely would like to sleep after we play, but I definitely feel like drained physically, but I feel like almost like satisfied mentally after we play. It's super weird. It's definitely like a weird feeling, but I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Well, satisfied because you just, did your art right there.
Yeah, definitely. And like satisfied in like a sense of just like, oh, I finally let everything out, because I'm not one to like talk about how I feel, and my band gives me shit for it all the time. But they don't actually give me shit for it. But they're like, you should probably try talking about how you feel sometimes. They're like, no, I'm just gonna play. Like, I'm gonna play a show and I'll be fine.
You take out your feelings on the drums.
Yeah, unfortunately, very expensive thing to take my thoughts out on. I hate it so much. I picked the worst instrument to play because it's so expensive. It takes the longest to set up. It takes the longest to tear down. Annoying, but I love it at the same time.
Well, every band needs a drummer, so if it's not you, someone else would just be taking a long time to set up.
True.
You also play bass, right?
Yeah, I played bass for jazz for 3 years, and that was about it. I never really cared to play bass in a band like mine. I would definitely play bass in a jazz band again if there wasn't so much to it. Like, I just want to go. I can't be like, oh, this chord changed as this and this chord. I'd still have to do that for this band, but it's more of a natural thing to me because it's the genre of music that I'm most familiar with. And jazz, it's just oh my God, there's so fucking much, and I lose my mind playing it every time.
Lose your mind in a good way?
No, jazz is so frustrating. I enjoyed playing it, but I was like, oh my God, I don't want to solo on this fucking upright bass and do whatever. These strings hurt. My fingers are bleeding. There's that, and there's definitely just a lot, and most of the time, a jazz ensemble has 10 people at least. That's how Central's was anyway, and it's hard to get 10 plus people committed and all in the same mindset. And
so why'd you choose bass for
they
jazz?
just needed a bassist.
Oh.
They were like, hey, I heard you play guitar. I was a freshman. They were like, hey, I heard you play guitar. It's the end of the year, and our bassist is kind of leaving. He's graduating. Would you be willing to play bass for us? And I was like, no. And my friend Andrew was like, dude, please do it. I trust you. You can fucking figure it out. I'll help you out with whatever you need. And I was like, fine. I'll do it just because I really like you.
That's so cool. I mean, kind of put you out of your comfort zone, I think. And that's probably why it was so frustrating.
In a sense, yeah, but at the same time, I just didn't like listening to jazz. So I was like, oh, I'm playing this genre of music with 10 fucking million different styles of playing it, and I don't feel like it, but here I am, stuck. I'm 3 years in now. And I'm actually kind of good at this. Unfortunately, I wish I sucked and just got kicked out. At the time, I'm just fuck. I don't want to be here. There's that. And they're like, hey, yeah, we have after school sectionals or something. And I'd be like, Jesus Christ, can I just go home? Because I also had drumline sectionals stuff after school, or then I had marching band before. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. But at the same time, it was kind of cool because I only had 2 actual classes my senior year. I only had English and Econ and Gov. Yeah. So it was just cruising by senior year. And
you can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, you can complain, but...
No, I'm saying, you're right, I can't. Yeah, jazz was not my favorite part of high school, for sure. And what was cool about playing jazz, though, we went to Mardi Gras in high school for band. We went to the actual thing in New Orleans, and I think I was a junior, so we did that. And since I was already so familiar with jazz stuff, we got to go see actual good jazz musicians, street musicians and stuff. And yeah, that jazz gave me a whole new appreciation for that side of music, and seeing all of that when we went to go do Mardi Gras stuff was just mind blowing. So that was one cool thing that came out of jazz.
That's so cool. That is really cool. Where have you So I know you've gone to a whole bunch of places around the United States. What's been a really cool place that you've traveled to for your band or with your band?
That's tough because like we go to all these places, but we don't get to see most of them. Like we really need to have a day off and like have like the energy and time to like want to go see stuff because most of the places we've been to, like we show up to the venue, play, go get like food after we play, and then we leave. So it's like, yeah, I've been to like fucking Georgia, but like I didn't see anything. Like I just saw the venue and like maybe like the Starbucks down the street, and that was it. But New York was definitely fun to see. Like New York was definitely cool the first time. The second time I was over it, like I was like, fuck, there's traffic. There's a bunch of sketchy people here. They're looking at our trailer like they fucking just struck gold. So yeah, New York was really cool. Like we got to go see all like the touristy stuff and all that. Getting into New York though is so annoying because you have to pay to get in. It's like a toll road or whatever. And the roads suck anyway. Like what am I paying for? Like the roads are fucking bad. There's so many like potholes and just like I'm like where's my money going? Like cuz we paid. Oh wait, no. We pulled up to like the little like the lady that was like charging us, and she was like, "Oh hey, like do you have seats in your van?" And I was like, yeah, that's how I'm driving." Like, and then she was like, "Oh, that's gonna be. Oh wait, you have a trailer too? It's gonna be $33." And I looked back and I was like, "You hear that, guys? It's gonna be 33 fucking dollars." And we ended up paying. Well, that this was the second day because the first day our vocalist had driven in and he did the same fucking thing. So he did that day, and that was the day we actually had to go play in like Amityville or something. And then the next day I was just like, we're still here. We have time. I want to go back and like see stuff. So that was when I was like, hear that, guys? So yeah, it was so bad. And then the traffic is annoying, and you can be at a red light and everyone's stopped. No one's like going anywhere, and everyone's just honking like for no reason. And I'm pretty sure it's just like they're angry because they live there and they're bored. Like, so it's just like, huh? Everyone's kind of just honking. I really want to fit in, so I was just like losing my mind, screaming and like doing whatever. And yeah, no one said anything because it was so normal there. I was just a part of like the 10,000 fucking cabs that were honking. Oh man, but we were so out of place. Driving in New York with a van and trailer is the worst. There's no parking. But yeah, New York was fun. And then we actually this last time we were in New York, we had a show in Poughkeepsie. I think that's how you say it. Well, I'm just gonna say it that way because it sounds better than the initial way I said it, which is Poughkeepsie. And there's so many weird places. But we played Poughkeepsie, New York, for like a benefit show for this lady's like this transgender lady was being targeted because she's transgender, and someone ended up like taking her cat and like cutting it in half and like gutting it and then leaving it on her doorstep. So she had a benefit show for that cat. Is it Rambo? I hope it's Rambo. It was like a Justice for Rambo thing. And like this lady like had the news come like she had a bunch of different like news people come to her house because she had the community come together, and they all painted her house like the color of a rainbow. And it was just like a big like fuck you to whoever did that to her cat. And we ended up playing like a little like benefit thing for her.
Did she specifically contact you guys and say, come
So
out here?
what had happened was we had a show in that area already and it fell through, and the one of the bands that was also playing that messaged us and they were like, hey, we have another thing for you. It's a benefit thing. You guys wouldn't be getting paid, but it's like for a good cause. And we were obviously going to agree because first of all, we didn't have anything to do, and second of all, it was like a good cause to be a part of. So we were just like, yeah, of course we'll do it. We're already here. What else are we gonna do on this, like, with like all this time and nowhere to go? So we did that, and then we ended up like spending, I think it might have been the next day, the day before, like hanging out near like the Hudson River and stuff. So it was like upstate New York kind of ish. But yeah, I didn't realize like New York actually isn't just traffic and fucking people everywhere. It's like it's actually really gorgeous. Like seeing past New York, New York. I think it's the farthest like east, like northeast we've gone to.
So when you're on the road, I mean, you kind of mentioned that you have that you time prior to playing a show, but do you ever get anxiety or stress yourself? And
On
how
the
do you
road,
deal with that?
yeah, I get anxious on the road all the time, and we're like always stressed because like if it's not like a relationship thing, it's like, oh, something happened with like oh fuck, like our van just blew up on us. Like we're stranded, we can't make the show, so we're not getting paid today. Like that's happened in Albuquerque of all places. I fucking hate Albuquerque. I hate New Mexico. There was a point in time we were driving through New Mexico to get to our first show in El Paso this last tour, and I woke up and I had to pee, and I was like, wait, where are we? And my band was like, we're in like Las Cruces or something, and I was like, fuck no, I'm not setting foot on New Mexico soil. Like I refuse to do it if I don't have to. So yeah, we were in Albuquerque, which is like one of the sketchiest places I've been to. I think like New Mexico definitely has the top two sketchiest places I've been to, and Albuquerque's number two for whatever reason. I forgot, but yeah, our like we had like a hose blow up on us in Albuquerque on our way to some show in Roswell, New Mexico, I think it was. So we ended up like stranded in front of like a Costco and a Starbucks. It was a good area to be stranded in because there was a bunch of food around us and like coffee. So we were fine for a little bit. And then we realized, oh, we have to get our van towed, but we also have our trailer on it with all of our stuff. And we also have to find somewhere to stay. It definitely stressed all of us out because we were like, fuck, we have to fork out money to get this van fixed. We're not getting paid. We're not playing the show. Like, we don't want to be in this area, like, with all of our stuff. And, like, we don't know where to leave our trailer. So, luckily, I have AAA because my grandma made me get it. And so we got our van towed to, like, it was a Firestone or something like that. And I actually always thought a Firestone was a pizza place until we had to get our van towed to one. And I was like, oh, so you're not a restaurant. But we got our van towed over there. And after that, we still had our trailer to get to wherever we needed it to be. And my like AAA membership didn't cover a trailer because it wasn't like recreational or something. The guy that towed us gave us cool like tips, like, oh yeah, just lie and say like you have recreational vehicles in there and you'll get your trailer towed for free too. But we're dumb and we were like, oh yeah, we have all of our like drums and guitars stuff in here. So we ended up waiting for like 4 or 5 hours to get our vocalist's brother's friend of a cousin of a friend or something, like, to get our trailer towed. And like, so they towed our trailer. We had no idea who these guys were, but they kind of like, one of us was familiar with them. I don't even know who the fuck it was, but like, we were just like, yep, here's like our entire life. We're trusting you to take it to our hotel. And luckily they did it. And we got an Uber to the hotel. That was definitely like a very stressful day. The next day we got our van back and like we walked to get our van, and then we drove the van back to get the trailer, and then we were off. So that's definitely something that stresses us out. Or just like little things, like being in a bad area when you're going to play. I've heard stories of people like getting their van broken into during the 30 minutes that they're playing. So they're playing, they come back out, and like all their shit's like broken, like it's gone. So being in a bad area is always stressful. Our guitarist Billy is always he's the mom of the band. So he's always just like, yeah, someone go fucking check on the van right now. Or like, he's the one that's always the most stressed. I love it. I love stressing him out. That's like really the main thing on tour that will upset us, aside from like sketchy areas or people.
I want to let you in on what my supplement routine looks like right now. So, the first thing in the morning, I like to make a hot drink. Sometimes it's lemon water, but I also love my yogi teas. I'll prep that and grab a pack of my Care of supplements. Previously, I used to dig around my kitchen cabinets looking for each of my individual vitamin bottles, opening each one, gathering a little pile, possibly forgetting a vitamin. It was just such a chore. Now I can get all of the supplements I like to take conveniently in one little package. Care of makes high quality vitamins, minerals, adaptogenic herbs, probiotics, and other supplements. And all you need to do is subscribe to what you want. When you go to takecareof.com, you can create your profile, take a short quiz to assess your supplement needs, and they'll take care of the rest. It's a fully customizable subscription service that will have your supplements delivered right to your door. No more shuffling around your cabinet looking for pill bottles or having to worry about running to the store to repurchase. I love that I can just grab my Care of packet and everything I need is in there. Care of takes care of you. To try Care of, head to takecareof.com or visit the link in the show notes to get $40 off of your first order. That's takecareof.com. I think there's an idea that touring is really glamorous and that bands, when they're touring, it's this, I don't know, I guess maybe the people, at least me, I'll talk about myself, you think of really big name acts and how they have sort of a luxurious way of traveling, but when you guys are touring, and I bet a lot of other bands too, I've heard that it's actually, each show that you play is basically funding the next stop, yeah. Right?
There's like, we get like a certain amount of pay each night, unless it's like a weird like show that we just like hopped on that day. We're not going to expect to get paid, obviously. So we do that, and then we also make like our main source of income on the road is also like our merch sales. But that's always like, you can't guarantee you're going to sell anything that night. So yeah, it's definitely not fucking like drugs and partying and like having sex with some random person every day. Like, it's not that. Because like, first of all, like if you can do that living with 4 dudes in a fucking smelly van, like, good job. Props to you. I couldn't fucking do it. Yeah, we're definitely not on a level where we can be comfortable on the road. We all like have like our like system where like each one of us has our own row in our van unless we take someone out on the road with us. Tour is so slowly like getting more luxurious. Like, we get to shower every day now because we 2 of us have Planet Fitness Black Card memberships, so we can get someone in with us. So we'll all like wake up, go shower. But our vocalist likes to wake up stupid early. Dan, if you're listening to this, fuck you. He likes to wake up beyond like any normal human time. Like, he'll get up at 6 in the morning, drive.
Oh, how ungodly.
At 6 in the morning on tour is like stupid. I don't know anyone else who wakes up at 6 in the morning on tour. Like, go to bed. You just played a show like 8 hours ago. So he'll wake up and be like, hey, I'm gonna fucking drive the fucking van now. And it's like, his bunk isn't like the back of the van. Luckily, he'll like get out through the back. Well, he used to, but our back door's fucked up. So now he has to climb over all of us. So I think he fixed that already, but there was a point in time on this last tour where he had to climb over the rest of us, and he'd start the van, wake us all up, and like, he chews extremely loud, so he'll wake up and like, so when he wakes up, this is what happens. And then he hits his vape, so you hear like the, and he just likes to fucking slam doors for some reason. So he'll get up, like, go pee, slam the door, be like, oh, I didn't fucking slam it loud enough. Let me wake everyone up again. Slam it again, go pee, come back, slam the door, and he comes back in, start the van, and then just fucking like, we'll get to a Planet Fitness at like 9 a.m. and I'm barely like 2-3 hours into going to bed, because there's times where I'm going to sleep when he's waking up, I'm like, I just went to sleep, and he's like, hey guys, we're at Planet Fitness now. I'm ready to shower. And he doesn't have the membership. It's me and Billy, my guitarist. So he'll wake both of us up, and our bassist wakes up pretty early too. So he's like, hey, I'm ready to fucking shower. And me and Billy are like, Dan, go away. Let me sleep. I'm not getting out of this van until at least 11. Like, so we, those like wheel clubs that people use to lock the wheel of the car. We have one for the van, and we call it the horse lock because we call our vocalist a horse because he chews super loud. And I think it's definitely a hair thing too. Like he has a little
Like a mane.
like a mane going on, yeah. So we have like the horse lock. That is what we call it. So only me and Billy have the keys to it. It's funny because Dan's name is in the title of the van, and he can't drive his own fucking van. So yeah, tour is definitely not a luxurious thing. There are people that have like fucking insane RVs and stuff that like I've seen working at Soma, and they fucking like they have like 3 RVs and like 3 semis or whatever. I was working for Trippy Red recently. It was just like a load in, load out, like build the stage, do whatever they need you to do. And at the end of the night, well, no. So the Trippy Red would post like, oh, like kickback tonight, like females only, DM like Sunny or something like that. I think Sunny was the name. And
Shout out to Sunny.
yeah, shout out to Sunny. He'd post that. So these girls went up. There's like a door to get to the green room next to the bathrooms for everyone. And he would post like, oh, go talk to Sunny. So these girls go up to my friends Colton and Dom. They're both standing in front of the door. And they're like, hey, do you guys know Sunny? And they were both just like, no. She was like, oh, well, this is his Instagram. My friend Colton was like, I don't give a fuck about his Instagram. Like, I don't know him. Go away. And she was like, oh, well, can you go get him? And he was just like, no, like, can't he just come get you? Are you guys friends? And the girl's like, no, he's not, kind of like not messaging me. Like, Trippy Red just posted to like talk to him to like party or whatever. And my friend Colton was just like, dude, like, if he can't come get you, Soma's a no re-entry thing. So he's like, if he can't come get you, there's actually another entrance. If you go outside, go around to the back, and you'll see all the buses and stuff. Like, there's another entrance, but I don't know if security's gonna let you in. They're like, cool. And me, not knowing what had just happened, goes out to the back of the venue, like, waiting to load out or whatever. And these girls are like, hey, do you know Sunny? And I was like, no. And then Colton was also out there with me and my friend Chris. So we were just like, no, we don't know Sunny. Keep doing our thing. They asked like 2 more people. And I guess the last guy they asked was like part of the tour package. So they're like, hey, do you know Sunny? This guy loses his mind, runs back in, and then 10 more dudes come out with him. And they're like, I'm Sunny. And like they're all just going at it. And there were these 2 dudes that were part of the tour package that were right next to me and my friends. And this dude was like, hey, man, take your pick. Like, we're shopping right now. And that was like the most degrading thing I've ever heard. And he was like, yeah, we're shopping right now. Go pick whichever one you want. And they were like IDing everybody because as long as like these girls aren't getting into the venue, like it's not our problem. So they're like IDing everyone to get onto their bus. And one of the girls was 15 and she tried like running behind the barricade onto the bus anyway. And the initial dude who came out was like, hey, get your little weird ass back behind that fence. And like, they were just fucking, oh my God. That tour was definitely luxurious for them. I couldn't imagine being on that level, but like, they're also like selling out 2,500 cap rooms in like no time. So yeah, there's our level of touring, which is the horse lock and Planet Fitness. And then there's shopping every night. For your RV.
If you could design your life without having to worry about things like finances or like what other people might think of your choices, what would you want to be doing right now? Like, is that what you would like to spend your time on fully?
Yeah, of course. Like, what I'm doing is what I want to continue doing until I'm fucking like dead. Like, I couldn't see myself doing anything that isn't music related. Like, I want to go move up in what I've put all of my time into. I want to, like, just, like, get better at what I'm doing. And yeah, I really couldn't see myself doing anything other than playing music. Like, that's my outlet, first of all. Like, that, like, I want to do for, like me and my guitarist, like, are always talking about, like, oh, like, I want to help people the way music helped me. Like, I want to do that for someone else and, like, kind of pay it forward in a sense. That is definitely the goal. That's, like, the reason I do it. So, yeah, I really couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Do you have other project ideas in your head? Like you mentioned, acoustic is something you're into. Do you see yourself doing that yourself, or?
Yes and no. I have, like, a few, like, kind of just, like, fun, just, like, for the fuck of it type of things with a few friends. Like, me and my friend Vaughn, he actually filled in for bass for us on this last tour that we did. And he was actually there for that Trippy Red thing when they were shopping. So we're doing, like, a heavier thing together. We haven't really done it much with it. Like, he'll send me, like, a demo or two. And yeah, I'm supposed to be doing vocal stuff for that. And then my friend Will is constantly like, oh, hey, do you want to write this and that? And, like, he'll send me a bunch of stuff too. And he's like, whenever you come hang out again, like, let's revise some stuff. And I haven't gotten to that yet either, but there's a few different things that I would definitely like to work on with those guys.
What would you consider to be your biggest challenge and your biggest accomplishment?
The biggest challenge would definitely be the financial side of everything. Like, other than that, everything kind of just comes naturally. Like, everything is definitely just, it somehow just moves along on its own. I've never had, like, a point in time where I feel, like, stuck or anything. Yeah, definitely the biggest issue would be trying to afford everything. Because, like I said, like, we have, like, van issues, or I picked the worst, most expensive instrument to play. Like, just little things like that definitely add up. And that is definitely, like, a big thing that will stress me out. But other than that, everything is just, like, it runs very smoothly. Like, I have a very good group of people that I'm working with. And we all kind of coexist in, like, a way that, like, it works for everyone. So there's definitely no challenge for me when it comes to, like, stuff like that. Biggest accomplishment, I don't know. I've done so much. Like the other day I was driving back from San Diego for whatever reason I was out there for, and I was like, wow, I was really, like, touring in high school. Like, I never thought I'd be doing that. Like, fucking, like, little, like, 12-year-old me would be losing his mind. Like, if you told me that, like, when I was a kid, I probably would have laughed at you. So, biggest accomplishment is definitely, like, the fact that I'm still here and, like, still doing it and still, like, pushing to be better. Like, I never thought I would be, I think I was 19 when signing to a record label, or I might have been 20 already, but I was definitely still, like,
You were an ambitious little kid then. Like, I mean, think of it. Who else is doing that?
not a lot of people, but, like, I do know a lot of people now that were doing this at, like, the same age as I am. Like, there's definitely a lot of people out doing the same thing, but, like, it didn't, I wouldn't know that if I wasn't ambitious as well. So, like, I don't know anyone else from here that was doing the same thing, or is, as far as I know. But not to sound, like, cocky or anything, but
No, that's a big deal. And that's kind of why I was asking before, like, who do you have motivating you? Because it's hard to be a trailblazer like that and just say, I've never seen anyone else do this, but I'm just going to go do it. Like, you don't have a guidebook or someone to give you suggestions to navigate that.
yeah, of course. And everyone has, like, their own path and, like, different pace. Like, you can't get mad at someone for taking off before you do, because everyone has their own way to go. And everyone has a different way of doing things and stuff. So I definitely just fucking like surprise myself constantly with whatever I'm doing or like whatever stupid situation I end up in. Like it's definitely insane to think about.
I'm so sorry for all the noises. We have peacocks.
Amazing.
Well, they're not our peacocks. They're my neighbor's peacocks. And they're just, I guess they're hanging out. They were fighting earlier in my backyard. So I think they're still there making a ruckus. So let's see how good my microphones are if they pick up any of that. Okay. So I think we'll kind of wrap this up with some closing questions. Cool?
Cool. Hit me with them.
So what are 3 things that make you feel like your best self? These can be products, routines, or anything.
That's a tough one. I can't think of 3 things. Definitely listening to music or playing music, of course. That's an obvious one. Just being around like good people is always like I can't not be around people. Like I can't sit alone. So definitely being around people that I enjoy being around is always like I will always feel better in the end doing that. And I really don't know what else. I'm very simple when I try to pick myself apart, but what else makes me feel like my best self? Wow, writing music is really like the epitome of my life. I can't think of a 3rd thing. I'm sorry.
Well, those are good things. I mean, if you want to separate them, you said listening to music and also playing music. Those can count
cool.
as 2.
Let's do that. Just gonna roll with it.
Do you consider yourself more extroverted versus introverted?
I don't know, cause like I really like talking to people, but at the same time, I feel like I'm bad at it. It's really weird. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I want to talk to you, but I also don't want to talk. It might be like a social anxiety type of thing, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm extroverted or introverted. That's a tough one.
I mean, you don't have to classify yourself. You can be right in the middle too.
I feel like I'm definitely like a solid middle ground for that.
That's perfect. Do you happen to know what your sun sign is?
My sun sign?
Yeah, like
What the fuck is a sun sign?
so that's your sign in astrology in the zodiac. Do you know what your
Oh, I'm not an astrology fan.
why is
I'm not
that?
a big like I'm not big on like reading things and being like, "Oh yeah, that's totally me." Like I feel like that's like I might not have the right idea of it. This might just be me being ignorant, but like I feel like I can like read any one of those like Aquarius, Taurus things and be like, "Oh, yep, I can relate to that one. I can relate to that one. I can relate to that one." So like being able to do that like just kind of like pushed me away from it. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
What's your actual sign though? Do you know?
I think I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
That the one with the bull, like the stubborn one. Yeah, I think I'm that one. I think so. I think my ex-girlfriend had like a chain with like the Taurus sign on it. So yeah, that would make sense. I think I'm a Taurus.
So why'd she have the necklace? For you?
I guess so.
Or maybe she was also?
This was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
No, we had completely different. I think she was born in December. So yeah, it was definitely like a try to be cute thing. Yeah, I think I'm a Taurus.
Okay. Well, for anyone who is into astrology, they'll just have to decide whether or not you fit that. You say you don't feel like you fit into the category, like
I feel like I fit into everyone somehow. Like I feel like I can read them and be like, oh, I can totally be that one, or I can totally be a fucking Scorpio, or I can totally be a Cancer. Like,
we have in astrology. I was gonna say we, like if I'm like the captain of this society or something. Anyway, we all have in our charts all of the different signs at some point or another because there's a whole lot of planets and I don't fully know the science.
a whole lot of aliens.
No aliens, but there's lots of planets and alignments of different things. So you might have all of those. You have Pisces, you have Aquarius, you have Capricorn, you have all that. And that's probably why you can resonate with different ones for different reasons.
That would make sense. I've never like looked into like the sun sign or things like that. Is there a moon sign?
Yeah, so the sun sign is the main one that everyone seems to know. Generally, most people know what their sun sign is. And then you also have a rising and a moon sign. And those are also indicative of your qualities. There's definitely more signs in the whole chart thing, but it's hard to remember because it's extensive.
It sounds like a lot. Yeah, I like stars. They're cool, but I'm not. Yeah, that star is like my thing or planet or whatever. I'm definitely just being like, I'm just not a fan of it. Like I can never get into it.
You like tangible things, I think. And that probably isn't very tangible.
Yeah.
So, what's your current favorite food?
Current favorite food. Oh, I like a lot of food. It's bad. I really like sushi. Like I could fucking live off of that.
Okay. If you could have dinner with one person who is living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. Oh man. There's a few people. I think. I would definitely want to have dinner with Ozzy Osbourne. I feel like that guy's fucking insane. I want to hear crazy stories from that dude. I want to hear how the fucking bat tasted when he fucking bit the head off. Like, oh man, that guy is nuts. Definitely have dinner with him, and like I definitely want to hear him do like the Sharon, like,
Nice imitation.
Is there anyone else? There's a few people, but that guy's definitely one. I actually don't listen to any of his music either. It's just like I know he's insane. um, I'm not a big like celebrity person, so
Well, I mean, it doesn't need to be a celebrity in that way. It could be, you know, just someone maybe you've read about, someone, I don't know, if you were into, I have no idea. It could be anyone.
definitely. Fuck. Who was I gonna say? I had someone like on my mind. Who was it? I definitely want to have dinner with Fiona Gallagher from Shameless, but like she has to be in character. So Emmy Rossum, if you're listening, sushi right now. But you have to be Fiona Gallagher.
What's a book, a podcast, a movie, or any sort of resource that has inspired you and you would recommend to listeners?
The Downbeat podcast by Craig Reynolds. He's a drummer for this band, Stray from the Path. And that guy is hilarious. And he has like a bunch of different drummers, obviously, on his podcast. But he also has like tattoo artists and vocalists and stuff like that. He's definitely like the main podcast that I listen to. Or he hosts the main podcast I listen to. Yeah, that like definitely gets me like inspired to like play or like learn something new or do something with my life instead of sit around and fucking watch YouTube videos all day.
Is that what you do in your downtime?
Yeah, I waste my time watching like weird videos. Like there was a point where I was like super into like just watching like the fucking like animals channel thing. Like I was just like, what do I do if a fucking giraffe decides to attack me one day? Like I watched a video on that. I specifically remember. I don't remember what it said to do, but there's that. I also watched like a bunch of like Netflix stuff. So that's what I do in my downtime.
Okay. So what's next for you?
I have a tour in April. It's like it's really short. We're doing 5 days with our friends in No Home. And we're doing another 5 by ourselves to route back. We're going from Phoenix to Walla Walla, Washington, and back down. So it's super short. I turned 21 on the second day of that in San Diego. So it should be fun. Don't know who's irresponsible enough to plan that, but like, hey, let's go fucking party for 10 days for my birthday. Like, it's bad. It's gonna be bad.
What haven't you done though? Like you've had a pretty full.
What haven't I done? I haven't done heroin. I'd like to keep it that way, but um, fuck, what haven't I done? I've done a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't done that I like to do. I can't think of anything. I'd like to go like skydiving one day, but what else is next? I don't know. My band's writing a new record right now. That's really it. Like we're not booking anything because we're trying to write. We're not trying to like do two things at a time. It just we can't multitask. We're not that intelligent.
It's exhausting. I mean, it's a long process to write and then record. So,
Yes and no. Well, for us, like writing for us consists of lots of just like, how does this sound? This kind of sucks. That sucks. This sucks. Like, and then we're like eventually like, oh, I have an idea. It worked, and it consists of that. My guitarist kicked me in the head last time we fucking wrote together. So there's a lot of him being an idiot and like doing his thing.
do you mean that literally or figuratively?
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, put your hat like on the top of your like barely have it on your head." So I like lifted my hat up like super high. He was like, "I'm gonna kick it," and and he's we call him like fucking Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and all that because he's like a brown belt in karate or something or a black belt, I don't know, and like he does like jujitsu and all that. So he was like, "I'm gonna kick your hat." So I was like, "Cool," and I knew it was coming and I like braced for it and I closed my eyes and I was just like, "Oh man." And then next thing you know, there's a foot going into my head, like, and I'm just trying to like write drums out, and so there's a lot of that goes on, a bunch of those shenanigans. Yeah, that's our writing process. So it's not too exhausting, but it's definitely like I said, we can't multitask. Like we can't be on the road playing old music and then be like, hey, now I have an idea, because we're not going to get like any inspiration from like the same fucking 8 songs that we play or whatever.
How many songs do you guys have? Whoa. How many songs do you guys have right now? You have like
Out?
yeah, in total.
We have 13 songs? 14. We have an acoustic version, like rendition of a song. Yeah, there's the record we just did the record we just put out in May was a 6-song EP, and then the record they put out without me on it in 2016 was a 7-song EP. And then off the 7-song EP, we did an acoustic version of one of those.
So when you're playing live, do you play some songs acoustic also?
No.
Oh, that would be interesting.
So much work. I would not put my drums together and like do all that to not play. Like, if anyone in my band suggests that, I'm gonna be mad as hell.
All right. So lastly, tell everyone where they can find you. Give us your socials.
I am Daniel Sara on Instagram and Twitter. The band's socials are at We Are Samsara for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I also have Facebook, but I kind of don't use it, so I'm not even going to plug that. Spotify is just Samsara. There's a few of them. We couldn't copyright the name, so yeah, you'll see my stupid face on there, and along with my hoarse vocalist, gorilla-looking guitarist, and normal-looking bassist. You'll see all 4 of us on there, and that's really it. I don't know what else. What other socials are there? There's Spotify. There's Apple Music. Is going to be the same, obviously.
Okay, cool. You're on Spotify and Apple Music.
We're on. What are we on? We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play. We're not on Pandora. I think we're on Bandcamp for some stupid reason. We're not on SoundCloud. I'm not a SoundCloud rapper. Uh, yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. Everyone can check you out there. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing all those cool stories about your band and your travels and your inspiration. I think this was very, like, a cool peek into who you are and some things that interest you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, there you have it. The episode was really fun for me to record, so I hope it was just as cool for you guys to listen to. I feel like it took me back to the roots of why I started the podcast. I love hearing people's stories, and Daniel has a shit ton of them. My favorite part was just hearing about the oh-so-glamorous, I'm doing air quotes there, backside of touring that no one sees. I don't know about you, but basically everything I know about touring I learned from the movie Almost Famous. Have you guys seen it? If you haven't, then it is so good. I highly recommend it. Comes out with Kate Hudson, directed by Cameron Crowe. Anyway, yeah, I've got more to add to my archetype of what life on the road is like now. I want to give a big thank you to Daniel for coming on the podcast. I've literally been trying to get him on for months. He's a busy guy. It's okay. So I'm glad we were finally able to make it happen. If you enjoyed this episode, then please head over to iTunes and leave a rating and review. It literally only takes a few minutes and it will help the podcast grow. You can also share this episode with one other person who you think might enjoy it. Text it, email it, post it on your social media app of choice. Feel free to tag Daniel and I too. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys think of this episode. Thanks to all of you guys for being here. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss out on any future episodes. So until next week, take care. Bye.